We want to introduce you to the myLyme project, a multidisciplinary team aiming to understand chronic Lyme disease from the perspective of a patient. Let me start by introducing you to Jim and his dog Juniper. Jim and Juniper have been stuck in the house all winter, so it feels really great to take a walk in the spring sunshine. It's a perfect day until an intruder comes out of the woods. Jim is bitten by a deer tick, and in a few days' time, he develops a bullseye-shaped rash. He feels feverish and has some pain in his joints. He decides to go see his doctor. The doctor tells him that he's contracted Lyme disease. Luckily for Jim, there's been a lot of great research on treating cases like his. Jim's doctor gives him antibiotics, and after taking them for a couple of weeks, he has a successful recovery and never has another Lyme disease symptom. We've learned a lot from studying ticks and the diseases they carry, and thanks to this existing science on Lyme disease, there are more and more cases that are just like Jim's, and what we already know works really well. There's a problem, however. Not everyone is like Jim. For many people, tick bites aren't identified in time, if they're identified at all, or existing treatments don't seem to work and symptoms become chronic. Many people are unable to work. They find themselves cut off from their friends and their family, and their days are clouded by pain and fatigue and other unpleasant symptoms. We can't simply pretend these people's suffering doesn't exist. Their symptoms aren't any less real just because we can't explain them. So how do we help? The first thing many patients try is talking to their doctor. The doctor asks about symptoms, but every case is a little bit different. The only similarity seems to be that what worked for Jim doesn't work for any of these people. The doctor isn't really sure what to say or do. Everyone is left frustrated and without answers. But what if we took a different approach? What if instead of wondering why all these people don't fit with the data we already have, we treated their differences as our data? What if we took the time to listen and to find out about their symptoms? What if we base these conversations on the fact that these symptoms are real, even if we don't understand them yet? What if we use these different patterns of symptoms as our starting point and try to identify patients whose symptoms and lived experience with the disease were most similar to each other? And then we use these different patterns of symptoms to understand why people suffer in different ways. What if these different patterns corresponded to being bitten by different types of ticks, or different pathogens carried by those ticks? What if those different clusters of symptoms corresponded to different genes, or even different geographical regions whose unique climate conditions might breed different pathogens? The myLyme project is based on the idea that what makes us different isn't a scientific inconvenience. It's what's going to help us learn to treat Lyme disease and other symptoms caused by tick bites. If we learn to recognize patterns in symptoms and link them to unique mechanisms and unique treatments, we can personalize the care we provide. The goal of the myLyme project is that no individual is left behind. Find out how you can get involved by visiting mylyme.ca.